The show starts in 10, 9, 8, 7, 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1, go.
Whether you're new to sales or a lifetime veteran, the Blackbelt Sales Podcast will sharpen your sword and guide you to master the art of sales. And now, here's your host, the ninja himself, Gene Slade.
Hey, welcome back to the Blackbelt Sales Podcast. What's up, Don? Good to see you today.
Good morning, Gene. Good to see you. Thanks for putting this together for us.
Thank Brittany, right? Brittany's the one that put it together. So thank you, baby, for putting this together.
Thank you, Brittany.
So Don, let's talk about the free stuff that we offer versus the paid stuff. You were telling me that you know that a lot of people go and take our free stuff and make a bunch of money with it and then never end up really getting anything but the tip of the iceberg. Right.
Well, you put out so many great posts, so many great videos, you know, the little shorts, the details. And I think about there's probably a lot of guys who've taken your post, your little videos and made money with them. You know, you can think about Bobby today was back on the call, and you could think about Corbin. You know, Corbin followed you for a couple of years and was really successful.
He's only been doing this 2 years now, Don. Can you believe that?
Well, that's incredible.
And I found out from him this past week. I didn't know this, and I've known him for over a year now.
Yeah.
The very first day that he got into a truck, he found us on the Waste No Day podcast, Sam Wakefield, and just started adopting the free stuff, right? Mm-hmm. And he was doing over $2 million a year by the time I met him.
Right.
Another guy, Dustin, that I just met, he started 4 months ago, has done $700K in 4 months, which tracks at about 2.1 million. Right. And that was all off of our free stuff.
Right.
So lots of guys are getting to $2 and $3 million just consuming the free stuff. So you're welcome out there.
Why are you doing so much free stuff then? If you know, and then really ask the question, if I'm the technician, why would I pay you? Why would I, spend money that I may not have when you have so much free stuff out there to begin with? Why do you put out so much free stuff, Gene?
Well, first of all, if you're doing $2 million a year, you're making at least 150 to 200,000. So I don't want to hear any excuses about not having the money. Okay.
But you might be unwilling to invest in yourself, but you could invest in yourself is what you're saying, right?
Yeah. So we've put out, I think, about 300 videos in the last 60 days. Okay. Wow. And so just imagine all of those being like puzzle pieces. Imagine it's and that's not all the videos we have, right? We've got we're going on 1,000 now. So imagine a puzzle that's got 1,000 pieces to it. We actually, at the paid classes and stuff, and in our ongoing mastermind, we actually put the puzzle together, right? It's one thing to know that there are pieces to a process. There's one thing to know what ingredients you're going to use when you make a cake or a pie, right? But if the order isn't right, is it as effective, right? So what happens is people come in, and we take all these different pieces that are scattered everywhere, and we create this beautiful picture for them, and they're like, I get it, right? And then they end up having successes like Corbin, who went from 2 to 3 to 4 to 5 million. Billy from 2 to 3 to 4 to 5 to 6 million. Eric from homeless to 5 million. Like that's the difference, right?
Yeah, you do see the guys that have seen the free stuff that then come and go like, I never understood it. It was like, boom, like, wow. So that's what the paid really does, is it brings all the pictures together. And I believe this is what you're saying. It brings all the puzzle pieces together. And now I finally see the whole landscape, right? The big picture. So So it's a big, big part of somebody talking about their free stuff right there on the post, Gene.
And consider that it costs me money to put out 300 videos in a matter of 60 days. I mean, consider that somebody had to shoot that video. Go ahead, Don. What were you going to say?
Well, I was going to just say that the mindset I have with all these videos as well is, if coming to the class were free, would you want to come to the class, right?
Yeah.
Well, if you'll just take some of the free stuff we're throwing out there, a surge protector, a ceiling saver, and you're a maintenance guy and you're saying, this doesn't apply to me, I don't sell systems. No, you can pick this up on a maintenance call. You can create your own extra revenue and pay to come to the class and take yourself to a complete another level. I would say that surge protector, if you're not selling one on every call, or maybe two on every call, but multiple a day, you could take your free stuff. I think this is what you're doing it for. Grab the free stuff, grab the surge protector, grab a ceiling saver, conversation, know how to do it, and just say to yourself, I'm going to put all those commissions that I make from selling that into this pool to train myself.
Yeah.
And I don't have to feel guilty about spending the money, because
you didn't have the money anyways.
You didn't have the money anyway. And that's what I would typically tell you is, pick up one little piece, get permission before you start trying to sell product. Would you like to know what our other clients have us do when we run into this situation? That's a gem right there.
Yeah.
That will get people wanting to hear what you want to talk about versus you just kind of shoving it down their throat. If you ever have people telling you, all you guys ever want to do is sell me something, pick up that phrase and it'll drop down, hopefully to zero, but it'll drop substantially. You don't push stuff on them. There's your free gem that make your life so much better. But take the free stuff, take those extra commissions, put it in a pool, and take that and invest it in yourself. Now, we'd like to tell you we want you to invest it with us, but the reality of it is we don't get to dictate that. You can invest it anywhere. And yeah, we see people posting live, or if you're on a replay, just post live or replay. And if you can, post where you are, where you are in the country, where you are in the world. We have some people that follow us around the world now. It's quite fun to see those. But post in there live, replay, and again, where you're from. And if you've got a question, you've got something, or if you know of a free piece that made an impact on you, tell us about it. Tell your other people about it, and post it in the comments to share it with other guys who are watching this today. So that's how you increase, is you pick up a little piece, you make a little extra money, you invest it back in yourself, and then you make double that. You invest that in yourself and you double that again. And then you get to that point where you have so much that you won't ever not pull away from training yourself and putting money into yourself. So that was what I think is how you're actually paying for everybody's class, whether you with all the free stuff you're putting out there. They just have to see it, do it, and then be willing to invest in themselves.
You absolutely have to do that, guys. Look, and I'm gonna say something that might hurt somebody's feelings right now. I'm gonna say it anyways. And I heard somebody else say this about 5 or 6 years ago, and it really, really hit home with me. But guys, if you don't have $10,000 in your bank account, you should be embarrassed. You should be ashamed of yourself.
Yeah.
You are not taking yourself or your life seriously. Don't invest in stocks. Don't invest in your 401k. Don't invest in real estate. Don't invest in starting a business. Invest in improving your skill set, your income making ability. That's
Right.
what has to come first. And then out of the excess, you can invest in yourself until you've got at least $100,000, maybe $200,000 in the bank. Now you can start looking at putting that money to work for you somewhere else. But until you have $100,000 in the bank, $200,000 in the bank, every dime that you have has got to go back into increasing your skill set and your earning potential, your income earning ability.
Right. Well, let's say you
If
have
you agree with me, give me a boom down in the comments, by the way. And by the way, please put live down in the comments if you're watching live. Please put replay down in the comments if you're watching replay. That's what we ask for as, you know, a result of doing this show. That's the fee that you pay to show up. So really appreciate you guys doing that. Don, there was something else that I know that you've got a direction you want to go. I have to say this though, to create a sense of obligation with the audience members. You talk about, yeah, it's free. No, it's not. Those videos were not free to me.
No,
It didn't. It would cost me a lot of money. If you were to take everybody that's involved in that process and every dollar that I spend to make sure that that video got recorded and got in front of you, you're probably looking at $1,000 a video. So if I put 300 videos, guys, it's a lot of money. Maybe
sure.
it's 500 a video, but it's still a lot of money to be putting out for you, right? Now,
Right.
why do we do it? I do it to, number one, to help you to be able to afford our services. But number two, I do it because I love you guys. And because I know that there are so many of you out there right now that are listening who will work 60 or 70 hours this week, right? Some of you are hoping to work 60 or 70 hours this week because it's slow out there for some of you.
May not be. Yeah. If you're depending on overtime to make your bills, this may be a shock coming that it's going to slow down. It happens every year, but it feels like it's going to be even stronger this year. But yeah, those videos aren't free. But again, as a technician out there, they're free to you. So you're almost like, Gene's rich. I don't care how much he spends.
No, it's called marketing, right? So I'm giving to you. I'm giving and giving and giving and giving and giving to help you so that you will eventually come and do business with us. And I'll be able to do the same thing for other people with the money that you give me. So, and of course, we got to eat over here too, right? But Don, I don't think I've bought anything for myself other than clothes, and this is what I wear every day, right? Like I don't spend money on myself. I have everything that I want. Does that mean I wouldn't take a Ferrari? Yeah, sure, I'll take one, right? But I don't really want one, right?
Yeah, that's good. I could want one. I could want one. I'm okay with that too.
You've got better cars than me and funner cars than me.
I like my Hummer right now. I do.
But I also have a bunch of kids and you don't. So
yeah.
Right.
Well, let's say you're out there and you're thinking, I would love to invest in myself. I just, I can't do it, or I've got a spouse in the bills and whatever. Again, make a deal with your significant other if this is what it takes. Look, I'm going to take the free stuff. I'm going to find a nugget. I would tell you, make it the surge protector. Go look that one up. Go find it. I'm sure if you texted Gene, he probably would share it with you.
Yeah.
So if you want to text Gene and get his surge protector script, he would share it with you. But take the free, make a deal with your spouse that says every dollar that I make off this free stuff, I'm going to put it in a side account.
Yeah.
Half of it, maybe you give to your spouse. You get half, and you can spend it however you want. Salon, do whatever. I'm going to spend the other half how I want, which is on training and on growing my career and on raising our income for the next year. And when it gets to be enough that I can buy a book or attend a class or join Gene's mastermind, that's what you get to do, right? Just make that deal. Earn your way through it. And again, because I get sometimes if, I don't have it right now, but sometimes in the past, if I went and said, hey, I'm about to spend $1,000, $5,000, or $25,000 on a training class, I would get the stink eye from a spouse, right? You might get the, what the, are you? No, you're not. No, you're not about to do that, right?
Don, I think a lot of that comes from, I'm going to step out on a limb here. I think a lot of that comes from people or men, let's say, making a commitment to something and then not following through with it. And then now their spouse can't trust them to follow through on other things.
Sure.
Mm-hmm. So if that's you, you might have to have a conversation with your significant other and say, listen, I know that in the past that I've started stuff and I haven't finished it. Right. And there comes a time and place where that has got to end. right? So my mission now is for me to get serious about providing for my family and giving you guys the kind of life that you deserve, right? And that's going to take some sacrifice from me, not just from my time, but also from money, right? But here's my plan, just like you said, right? I'm gonna consume this free stuff. Every additional dollar that I make, I'm gonna put it back into my brain so that I can make more money, so that I can get home earlier, so that I can, have some dinners with the family, right? That's what I was going to say earlier, Don. That's really why I do this. I do this because I want technicians to be able to tuck their kids in at night and to be able to have dinner with their families and not get home at 9 o'clock every damn night. And until you increase your communication skills, you will never get control of your life. You will be stuck behind that wheel of that van for the rest of your miserable life.
Yeah.
So that's why I put this stuff out there. Go ahead.
Where are some places that guys can find our free stuff, since we're talking so much about it, Gene?
Whatever platform you're watching us on right now, we put multiple videos a day on that platform, typically in the form of reels. If you're listening on a podcast or something right now, just go to Instagram. Instagram's preferred. Facebook is second, and just go to @Gene Slade, the @ GENESLADE. That's all you've got to do, right?
So there's YouTube channel as well, isn't there?
Yep.
Are some of the there's YouTube videos, there's Apple Podcasts, Spotify, whichever there's, I don't know, 30, 40, 50 previous of these episodes. I'm not sure the number you're up to. There's hundreds of shorts and videos on Facebook, on Instagram, wherever.
I've been putting content on YouTube for 10 years. Mm-hmm. 10 years.
I can remember Bobby telling me all he did was put your podcasts and he listened to them all. And then when he got to the end, he just went back and started at the beginning. And you get 1 or 2 new ones a week, but you just, when you run out, go right back to the start and do them again. Right back.
Did you know that if you watch a video, if you watch or read a book more than once, that you actually get shit the second time that you didn't get the first?
Yeah, it's almost like it's a whole different story. I've had that to occur. Like, where did that come from?
You talked about that on a recent podcast about how you had paid me to come out like 8 times to your shop, and on the 8th time, you're like, "Oh my God, I didn't get that before. I've heard it 7 other times, but it didn't click." Yeah,
didn't click. Now that brings me back. And I want to say the free stuff versus the paid stuff. You get with the paid, you get time with Gene, you get time with me, you get a roadmap of how to get to success in 30 to 60 days, where the free stuff, you can get there. I think you can get pretty close with the free stuff, but it may take you 1 to 2 years. And it's still, you'll question in the back of your mind, do I really have it? Because somebody will throw you a curve and you'll be like, I'm scared. When you go through the Lead Ninja Mastermind, you get a roadmap. You get the steps, 1, 2, 3, 4, the levels of certification, and you really can become certified as a Lead Ninja sales coach eventually. So many people out there.
We've got guys right now working on that, getting certified as coaches with us.
I definitely get a lot of questions. You sure get plenty more. How do I get to your level, Gene? How do people get to that level where I get to coach others? And certification is really the first step. I got quote certified, if I can say it that way, before certification process existed, and I paid for it. Somewhere around $250,000 of classes I brought you in for. You can get it a lot cheaper than I got it for. I will say that. But when you pay, you respect it a whole lot more, if that makes sense. And I was in the front of the class taking the most notes, following up, and I learned it myself so that I could turn around and teach it to others. And I probably have taught 500, 600, 700 people now through my career, I would say. Most of them work for me, but now that I'm not owning a company anymore, some of them through this media here, and people just contact me. So again, if you don't have the money to do the paid stuff, grab a free item, set a deal with yourself that says, I'm going to learn it, I'm going to utilize it, and I'm going to invest every dollar that I get back into myself until I get certified, till I get to that level. And you can have certification, you can have all this stuff, and it not really cost you anything. It will
Yeah.
cost you really the money you're just leaving. The extra income that you can get will pay for everything we would ever ask for. So, and Gene's willing to give you that for free. He'd probably even give you 30 minutes. I've heard you do it before, and I'm not going
Yeah.
to step out. If you'll text Gene, he'll probably give you a couple of minutes of his time, maybe up to 30 minutes, just to point you in the right direction. As long
I
as
do that
you're,
all the time.
yeah, as long as you're, like I said, in the trade, whatever trade. I know you've been doing roofers and plumbers and electricians and HVAC. Even heard some garage
Solar.
door might be happening for you too, in
I
that. So,
built the sales system for the largest solar removal replacement company in the country.
wow, yeah. Hmm.
So,
So
you know,
any
Don,
trade that you're in, 30 minutes is time will multiply your income, and then you could invest it in yourself. So Gene doesn't ask you to pay him first. He'll give you the value, and then he might ask you to say, hey, invest in yourself. And we think Gene is the system to do that. I know I invested heavily in it. I've paid Gene far more money than he's ever paid me through the years,
yet.
and I'm happy about it. I'm happy about it. Well, somebody else paid me that and then some back by maybe a 20 factor, but that's okay.
So, real quick, Don, you know, this subject of free, you know, that we're talking about versus paid stuff. There's something that they should know about the paid online training, right? The one where on Tuesdays and Thursdays at 9 a.m. we do one-on-one coaching in a group setting on Zoom.
Yes.
That program's got everything I've ever written in it, every process, every sales rebuttal, like everything.
Right.
But that program actually, not only does it have a 30-day action-based money-back guarantee, which
Really?
nobody has, but there actually is a way to get that program for free. So I charge 10 grand a year for that program, guys. Or if you want a payment plan, it's $1,000 a month for 12 months. Okay. So I just come right out with it. That's the price of the program. It's going to be going up. But that program is laid out for you to get certified within 60 days. And that typically takes around a half an hour or so a day.
Right.
If you
for
get
60 days, that's not that long. That's not that much for that long.
No.
People. That's
It
ridiculous.
could, depending on how you learn and stuff, it could take you an hour a day. But if you are able to complete it and get certified within 30 days, I actually pay for the entire year. And then I give them their first month's worth of their money back. Or if they paid me 10 grand, you get certified in 30 days, I cut you a check back for 10 grand. So why would I do that? People never can, they don't seem to guess fast enough. But Don, why would you say that I would do that?
Well, I know that the people who get certified and go through the process tend to make the most money. They tend to they tend to send us tons of referrals. Realistically, they tend to go out and sing the praises, and sometimes it just feels really good to hear people talk positive about you in this negative world out there. So, if you gave their money back after you certified them, and they went out and sent you 5 more, I think that's a bargain on our end. That's cheap marketing in a way. So that's what I would say it is. You can do it, but you have to commit to it. It's I like the phrase you said. It doesn't take long as you do the work.
Put in the work. Yeah.
As long as you put in the work. Exactly. So
Don,
it's very possible.
If somebody is making $40,000 a year, people have done it. But if somebody's making $40,000 a year, and the average person who gets certified is making between 150 and 200, if I can take somebody from 40K and in 30 days have them running a pace of doing $150,000 to $200,000, that's almost a miracle, right?
Right.
And miracles do tend to spread. The word tends to spread. And do you think I could shoot a great video with that person? Do you think I could get a video testimonial and put that out there and we end up affecting other lives? Yes.
Absolutely.
But let's say you didn't get certified in 30 days. Let's say it took you 60 and you had to pay me $1,000 a month, right? but you went from 40,000 to $80,000 a year. Would that still be a good deal? Even if you didn't do even if you only did half
And
of
guess
what
what?
most
You
people do
you get to keep that knowledge that brought you from 40 to
forever.
80 forever. You don't have to give it back in 1 year. But once you learn something, it's yours, right? Once
Yeah.
you learn something, it's yours. So, yeah, that's a cheap investment. Even if you had to pay the whole 12,000 a month for 12 months, is a very cheap investment. It took me, again, 200 plus $1,000 to learn what you can learn for 12, and what some people can learn for free,
Yeah.
with a upfront payment or two, and then get their money back if they commit to it.
Yeah. Wouldn't you
Um,
be satisfied if you only made an extra 40K off of a $10,000 investment? You
yeah.
can't get that in the stock market, guys. If you find somewhere else you can get a 400% return on your investment, please let me know. I want as many as you can give me. Right? Do you agree, Don?
Right. Oh, absolutely, absolutely, yeah.
There's
So
nothing that you can invest in that will make you more money than investing in yourself.
investing in yourself, I would agree that you can grow your income so much faster than you can really grow an asset with that kind of investment. If I can say it that way, you can grow your income really, really fast. Assets take longer
Thank you.
time to grow, so you can grow your income, and that's the first start for a lot of wealth. Is you have to have some income to do it.
Yeah.
So take the free stuff, go dig in, make a deal with yourself, and then make enough to get that first $1,000, join the mastermind, and then commit. What if it took you 4 hours a day? I think a lot of guys have extra 4 hours right now this time of year. I like what Eric said this morning. He said, look, if you're not overwhelmed in your schedule, you're going to need to start closing at 70, 80, 90% on the maintenance
Yep.
calls that you might get in the next month. Not the demand calls, not the system estimate calls, the maintenance calls. You're going to need to close 70, 80, 90% of those, or you're going to be standing around with everybody else in your company whining about how, and I jokingly always say is that, you can either be a success by committing and doing the things everybody else want to do, or you can have a lot of buddies at the unemployment office when you're going down there looking for a handout. A lot of people in line at a lot of your friends in line down at the unemployment office when the company shuts down, because there's some chances that some companies could shut down if the techs aren't bringing in the revenue the company
Oh,
makes
it's happening,
is
and it's
sitting.
going to continue to happen.
Yeah.
Yeah,
And
this
it
is where
sounds a
the
little
weak
rough, but
watch out.
your paycheck actually sits in your customer's checking account until you show them why your work is worth more than holding on to that money. Your paycheck is made by your customers. The company just doesn't have money they're paying out. They have to get it from their customers. And I know that sounds like, oh, it's common sense or just stupid sounding. But the reality of it is, as a business, it has to cash flow in the next few months, 6 months. I don't know the time frame. Being an off season in HVAC, you all guys can see that. This may be the awakening party that we all need, I guess, but to get back to basics and realize that we have to do more. If you're not prospecting, if you're not in front of a customer, working on sales, following up on closes, prospecting if you have to, it's booking your next call, because sometimes that's on you as a technician to find your own work.
What do you mean it's on me as a technician? I work for a company. That's their job. That's not my job.
Well, are you going to depend on everybody else to make your income, right? When you depend on everybody else, it may or may not happen, right? So go and book the next appointment. Knock on the doors next door to the call you're on. Ask for referrals. There's a lot of free stuff that talks about this. We don't have to get into those details. But if you
You,
are the responsible one to make sure your schedule's full, you'll do it. And then
I'm
I
I'm
tend to
starting to
say, if
I'm
you
starting to
can't
get
do,
up.
if you're not going to do that, then train. There's
Yeah.
nothing that says you couldn't take this material, rewatch it, get a video, get a book, read it, join the mastermind, and you'll have hundreds of documents to read at that point on how to handle. Let me talk to the spouse. To you're too expensive. To I want to think about it. All the objections that you probably have heard this week already are written down in the mastermind program. They really
Every
are.
single one of them.
Mhm.
Yeah, there is nothing that you guys run into in the field that we don't deal with inside of that program.
Right.
So you're literally talking about a program where at the end, when you're certified, you literally have every tool that you need for every objection that's ever going to come up with a client. And like we're seeing evidence of it this morning. Josh Kerr finally has got like 8 or 9 features and benefits memorized, right? He uses them yet. Was it on Sunday Sunday he had a call and ends up closing a deal for like $23,000 or something because he had his features and benefits ready. They're trying to get him to go down on price and everything. And he's like, look, would you like to know why more people choose us? And they're like, yeah. And he starts rattling them off. And then they stop him and they go, hey, listen, let's go ahead and do it.
And I will say part of the paid is helping him get that click in his head on how to memorize those, on how to be able to recall those quickly. And that's the extra that you get when you join the mastermind. That's one of our secret sauces, one of the secrets on how we get you there quicker.
We don't teach you everything for free. No. We don't. Guys, we've only given you the tip of the iceberg when it comes to the free stuff. Really, truly, there's so much more granular stuff that we go into at the paid events. Don, when's the next event? Let's tell them a little bit about the next event. And by the way, guys, look, you don't have to come up with all the money up front, okay? As long as you got halfway decent credit, right? We've got the ability to get you some easy payment plans, make it affordable for you, okay? Right. So don't stress about that. Just start to get in the mind frame of taking action about your skill set, okay? So Don, September 29th through
October, that first few days, what is October 29th through the 3rd, Gatlinburg, you're going to be teaching a live class. And we're going to be doing role play. We're gonna have these things down. We're gonna have you
tell them about the place, man. Tell them about the place.
Oh, you're gonna see a video here in a minute, I believe, and you just wouldn't believe 20,000 or whatever square feet of just crazy house. Was it 20 bedrooms?
And it's 21 bedrooms, I think. Yeah. One of them's like a bunk room.
Yeah. Wow. And get to be in Gatlinburg in the fall, cooler weather, the beautiful views.
5 acres up in the mountains is what this house is situated on. It's brand spanking new.
Yeah, this, less than a year old. This few, I think y'all booked the first week it became available. First couple of weeks, if not the first week.
We actually booked it before it became available. So it hadn't even been released to the public yet.
Wow. So these are, again, great classes. How, you've got the Mastermind Weekly. That's a way to learn from Gene. You've got come to the live events, which are wonderful. Again, we have them in great places. We kind of have them sometimes in maybe really kind of expensive places. And people have said, well, I don't want to pay for your mansion to come to an event. Why aren't you hosting these things in, the cheap motel that's got a $78 rooms for the guys to stay in? Why aren't you doing that, Gene? Why do we bring them together like this?
Well, I don't know anybody that wants to stay in a $78 room. You might be looking, maybe $150, $170 room, but by the time you add up 4 nights of that, you're already pushing $600, $700, $800. And when you start to add up the participants, when we do it this way, it's actually cheaper for everybody.
All the food's involved in this, isn't that right, Gene? When the moment you walk through the door, there's nothing else that you have to do unless you just have something that you absolutely,
if you're a vegan, you got to let me know. If you got some allergies, that's one thing. But no, all the food is prepared for you. We have private chefs in the morning that have.
I've even heard there's some alcohol that's included. Is that true?
We're not going to be talking about any of that.
Okay. Oh, good. Okay.
At all. But no, the first 2 nights there will be seltzers and beers and stuff like that'll be there. And we do have we got some other stuff planned. It'll be fun. But getting back to what you were talking about and why we do them in these places, number one, it actually is cost effective to do it, and it keeps me from having to have you guys spend more money. So that's number one. Number two, it's a little bit more intimate when you're in a group of 70 people or less compared to a room of 200 or 300 people. And we're very family oriented here at Lead Ninja. And what I noticed traveling around the country to events is that when an event is over, a class is over, everybody scatters and goes their different ways, right? And that can lead to people getting into trouble that they don't necessarily need to get into. And you could imagine all the different kinds of trouble that a man could get into in a city that's not his own, right? So we keep everybody together like a family, and we continue to spend time and fellowship into the evening, and we continue to train into the evening, right? So you're not
One
just
thing I
talking about
enjoy the
class
most is when we're sitting there at dinner and we're still talking about what you just taught, and it starts to click.
yeah
What was that? Do you remember how to do that? What was the phrase that you? And we reinforce it. That's one of the things I actually enjoy the most, is really just sitting around and having the conversation about this is what was covered in class, and then you see that light bulb go off. It goes,
yeah
I knew, I
and then the
heard it, I knew
excitement.
it, but I couldn't repeat it.
And then you get people, this is the difference too. When people come to one of these mansion events, by Saturday night, they're going, man, I cannot wait to get home and use this stuff. Like they're excited to get back to work, excited to go run calls, because they now see the veil has been lifted. They now see what they actually can have out of life. And frankly, Don, also, I don't know how many of you have ever stayed in 16 or 18 or 30,000 square foot mansion. We've rented them all. It's actually kind of cool. I mean, it kind of does expand your mind, right?
Yeah.
It gets you thinking bigger, right? And one of the biggest challenges that we have today is that people think so small, right? Les Brown says that he believes people fail in life more times, not because they aim too high and miss, but they aim too low and hit. Right. So that we're trying to expand people's minds, put them in an environment where iron sharpens iron, spend 14 hours a day with them, feed them, house them, take care of them, protect them, and then bring them into the family for the future. So that's why we do it this way.
You have a mastermind event coming in September 29th, October, Gatlinburg. We have the online Tuesday and Thursday. You can ask about that. And if you're a business owner or manager, you can actually get an on-site. And I know you see the other trainers out there talk about the on-site or whatever, but you can still get on-site with Gene
or Don.
And it's massive, the impact you can have. And that was always my item. Look, I sent a few people to your class over the years.
Yes, you did.
But the reality of it is I could pay just a little bit more. Sometimes, it's a lot of money, but it's a little bit more, and I could get my whole company trained.
Yeah.
All I do is not book a first appointment, and we train from 7 to noon or 8 to 12, whatever the time frame is. Sometimes it was 7-11, sometimes it was 8 to 12. Depends on when you get your guys there. I mean, we could train at 6 a.m. if you'll just guarantee your guys show up, right? Yeah. Typically 8 to 12, and then we send them out and they go run calls the rest of the day. So all you got to do is you're not going to miss out on any calls, especially this time of year. Guys are heading home by 2. Well, all we do is we take their 9 o'clock appointment, we make it a 3 o'clock appointment, and they're still running the same number of calls. We're just training for 4 hours, 4 days a week, typically, right, Gene? Something of that nature. It all depends
usually 4 half days.
4 half days. I know when I did it, I had lunch brought in so that my guys could eat lunch.
Yeah, and then go.
Talk, have a little conversation, eat lunch, chat, and then go to their call. Otherwise, they're leaving, and then they're going to a restaurant and burning another hour or so. So I would typically bring in food, sandwiches, something good, pizza, whatever, feed them, and that was their reward, and then onto that call. And again, whatever time your dispatch book, you really this time of year won't miss out on a single call, because that's typically one of the things we'll hear owners say is, man, our numbers are so tight, I can't take a guy out of the field to go training. And of course, we're going to argue that if he brings back twice as much revenue on the the next day or that afternoon, it actually pays for itself.
Yeah.
I had a secret early on when I hired you. I couldn't afford you. And I said, look, these guys have to go run calls, because I have to get some cash flow in here to make payroll and to pay you by Friday. And that was about where my business was back then. Is
You didn't tell
maybe
me
that
that.
says something.
You didn't tell me that at the time, and I don't blame you, right? Who would want to say that, right? It could feel embarrassing, right?
Yeah,
But
exactly.
you but I so love the fact that you were a man of action and you had that faith in yourself that you could take and convert that into money,
Yeah.
right? That's the entrepreneur heart and spirit that you and I both just
So if business
can't get
owner out
rid
there
of.
and cash flow is an issue, then I've been there. I know exactly where you are and those issues. And I still would tell you, best thing you could do is get your guys making more on every call that you have. Don't run more calls. Make more on all the calls.
That's right.
Introduce the things that they haven't ever sold. If you haven't been selling indoor air quality, there is $1 million you can add to a business that's just got 5-6 techs
Oh
right
yeah,
now.
easy.
Easy.
That's $1 million add-on for one really good sales tech, right? A good sales tech should be doing $1 million a year just in IAQ, in my opinion.
Yeah.
There's
it
only
could
3
happen.
ways to increase your income or your revenue, right? You run more leads, increase your closing rate, or increase your average ticket. That's the only choice you got. And if one of them is not running more leads because you ain't got enough, those other 2 gotta go up.
They got to increase. That's kind of what Eric was talking about this morning. Look, if you're only going to get a few leads this week, this month, this season, let's make sure we're not walking out with the minimum tickets. Let's get let's give them a choice, and then let's make it easy for them to buy. Let's give them a choice of everything. And if, again, one of the things that getting in our paid mastermind helps you to open up that it's okay to make a list that's $10,000. When's the last time you made a list that's $10,000?
It's going to sound scary to you right
Yeah.
now, but don't be scared. Just trust us. You'll understand more later when we actually.
All my clients
expand
won't pay. They're all cheap. They're only interested in they're wanting everything for free. We hear it all the time, right?
Yeah.
And
It's just because you guys don't have the skill set. I mean, you don't know what to say. You're like a deer in the headlights when these customers are hitting you with these objections.
Sure.
Don, real quick, we're
really at time. Sorry, running on and on today.
But there are 2 things that we've got to I've got to say before we wind this down. And the first one is we've been talking about the leads and the challenges with the leads. Did you guys know that we have an AI at Lead Ninja? It's called Lead Ninja AI that makes outbound telephone calls and books appointments for you. Did you know this? Okay. Did you know that it only takes about 3 to 4 days for us to get it set up? Did you know that we can make 1,000 telephone calls in about 5 minutes and just completely fill your board? If you've got a couple thousand customers, I can solve this problem for you for cheap. Okay. So if that's you, either put AI down in the comments or shoot me a text. Okay. I'll have a free conversation with you about it and give you all the details. 239-848-6533. 239-848-6533. Yes, it can handle inbound telephone calls as well. Yes, it can read your CRM. Yes, it can answer your phones at night. You can get rid of that answering service that's got that person on there that sounds like Lurch every time one of your customers calls from the Addams family. Okay. Sorry about my picture being froze. And then so
a lot of people think that's going to be. Is that really expensive? Because people are. AI, is it expensive to do that, Gene?
No, it was really expensive for me. It cost me hundreds and hundreds and hundreds of thousands of dollars. It cost me, but no, it's super, super cheap. It's less than the cost of half of an employee. Okay, so set up an appointment with me to have a conversation soon, because we've got special deals for the next 8 people. So shoot me a text or put AI down in the comments. And then the last thing, Don, that we forgot to talk about or haven't talked about yet is the December 6th through 8th Comfort Advisor and high ticket sales class that's going to be done in Grand Hala in the mansion.
Orlando.
Orlando. So that's going to be 2 days, 3 nights. We'll be training for 2 days straight through high ticket sales and Comfort Advisor processes. So if you sell anything that's over $20,000, you want to be at that class. Okay. And it's going to be the same cost as our tickets always are. All right. We'll be staying at that mansion together. Food, accommodations, all that stuff will be covered. All right. And that's December 6th through 8th. So if you want more information on that, put high ticket or Comfort Advisor class down in the comments or shoot me a text. All right. And I'll get somebody to take care of you. That was all I had, Don.
Sounds good. So take the free stuff, take that extra commission, invest it in yourself, come to our mastermind or come to a paid class, and then watch that investment in you tenfold. That's really what we believe will happen. And again, take Gene up on his guarantee. I challenge anybody out there right now, take him up on the guarantee. I'll give you some extra time to give you some help, because I like to see some guys win, but take him.
Don's going to be working against me.
Yeah, join, start the process, have some phone calls, do your certification the next 30 days, and be amazed at the extra income that you'll make. We have guys that get that certification that make more revenue than all the rest of the guys in their company combined. Sometimes that's maybe a stretch, sounds a stretch sometimes, but it does happen.
It's just a fact.
Yeah, it does happen. So,
and just
I'm excited
FYI,
about that.
Don would be working against himself there as well, because Don is paid based on the revenue that the company brings in, right? So if he helps you to get certified, he's working against himself as well.
So I would probably turn around. I would turn around and ask you to say, go find 5 more people and send them to the class. Yeah. As long as one of them pays us, I'm no worse off.
You know, it's so funny with the Dustin guy that I've been working with a little bit lately. I've really only had 2 sales training conversations with him, but that's what I told him. I said, listen, the deal, what I'm going to ask for helping you, before I started helping him, I said, the deal is that when I help you and you become a success, whenever that is, that you share this with other people, right? And you share my name with other people and where you got this, right? And he didn't take long. Within 3 weeks, boom, he shares my name. We have an on-site in Arizona in October now. So
wow. See, that's why we do it, is because it will build more business for us very typically. Right?
Have you ever heard the term giver's gain?
Okay. Yeah.
Guys, you know, what you put out there into the universe is what comes back to you. If you have a limited mindset or scarcity mentality, if you think money is scarce, if you think that, you know, there's not enough out there for everybody, then that's the way that your life is going to be. But if you have an abundance mindset, an abundance mentality, that anything and everything that you've ever wanted is all out there, and all you've got to do, it's already in the hands of somebody else, and all you've got to do is help other people get what they want, and you can get what you want. That's why we do this, guys. That's why all the free stuff. Because look, in part, yes, I love helping people, and in part, it's selfish running a business over here. I need to create some sense of obligation from you guys.
Yeah. Well, a lot of great information. There's so much free stuff out there. Utilize that, guys. Get you that. I'll tell you, get you that Surge Protector script. Get you that Ceiling Saver script. Get you something that you're not selling right now. Learn it. Within a few days, you'll be adding revenue. You'll be putting extra commissions in your pocket. And all we're telling you is invest that in yourself. We think it should be with Gene. I think it should be with Lead Ninja, but you get to choose that after you make the money. We're not asking for that commitment up front. You go out and make the extra money, have it to invest in yourself, and do it. Invest back into yourself. Gene?
I'll ask for the commitment. I'll ask you all to make a commitment in yourselves today, not just for you, but for your family, for your kids, for the generations to come. If you don't have something to leave them, how are they going to make it? Right? Do you want them turning wrenches their entire lives? Or would it be great if you were able to give them a gift of knowing how to communicate and how to make it in this world? See, some of you are not even thinking about that. You're still thinking about yourself. You're stuck on the fact that you're one of the people in this country that's only got $600 in their bank account or something like that, right? You're stuck there, but you're not thinking about the generational change, transformation that you can have in your bloodline. Okay. So guys, get serious. Okay, guys, I'm going to show you a quick video of the mansion, and then stick with me, because when I come back, I'm not only going to end the show, but I'm going to do something very special for you, but you got to stick with me through this. Okay. Check out the video. We'll be right back. We're going to end the show.
If somebody was hesitant about coming to the Lead Ninja Mastermind, I'll tell them this. You can't afford not to go. It's going to change your life, but not only your life, your family's life.
You don't have to wait a year to start making the kind of money that you want to make. Corbin came out of here and within 30 days went from $250,000 to $500,000 in sales. So it doesn't take long as you put in the work.
I've seen a huge increase in just a short time. Last month, my total revenue for the month was only $5,200. We still have about 10 days left of the month and I'm already at $13,500. The difference between others and this one's a lot more direct and a lot more informative in certain areas to help you overcome certain obstacles, where the other ones are just kind of broad for everybody. So this one really kind of gets down to the bottom of each and every step in the process of, doing your job as an HVAC technician. If you really want to better yourself, then you need to invest the time in yourself, and joining this class is definitely going to help you get to that next level. If you're struggling to get to that next level, this is the class you need to be in.
Yes, I have scripted out for you, word for word, exactly how to tell them about the money.
So look, I know that there's some of you out there that legitimately don't have the money. Okay. If you are one of those people, you really, really, truly want to invest in yourself. And if you had the dough, you would go ahead and do it. I'm going to do the same thing for a couple of you, for the next 6 people, actually, that put their name or put me down in the comments. Just put me down in the comments. I'm going to go ahead and meet with you for 30 minutes like I did with Dustin. And I'm going to pour into you for 30 minutes. I'm going to give you some suggestions, some tactics, some advice on how to go out there and make more money instantly on that day. Okay. And then to rinse and repeat, right? I'm going to show you how to make the money that you need to make in order to afford to come. All right. As long as you promise that you're going to go ahead and utilize those funds for investing in yourself. So 30 minutes of my time, I would ordinarily charge at least $1,500 for that. I'm going to do it for you for free. Put me down below, and we'll catch you on the flip side on the next episode of the Black Belt Sales Podcast. Thanks for joining us today. Thank you, Don.
Sounds great, Gene. Thanks. Look forward to seeing you doing this again.
Yes, sir. Have a good day. See you, ninjas. Have a great day.